So Laban will realize that when you're making move when you're young is only a temporary situation. It is not the real deal. Going to Laban was just a temporary solution. It wasn't the main thing. So now watch this. Avoid making this, avoid taking desperate actions. Avoid desperate actions. When you are not too sure, many things are not clear to you. Avoid taking desperate actions. Avoid making temporary decisions. Avoid making permanent decisions on temporary situations. You are 20, between 20 and 25, and you want to make permanent decisions, take permanent decisions. I don't think that you are allowing life to go through you and you go through life before you can make those decisions. Guys, please avoid taking desperate actions. You know why? Because desperation causes you to undervalue yourself at times. And look at Jacob, because he was running. He went to his uncle and he just undervalued himself. He just said, "Look, I will serve." Who serves for a wife for 14 years? Who serves for one wife for 7 years? Desperation, immaturity, lack of experience. And he was doing this with even a family member. That is the painful part. But regardless, sometimes it's family that will even dupe you more. No, it's not. The world is not dupe. Um, it's family that will even undervalue you more than outsiders. It's family. Once families, you're doing certain things for a family, they become used to it, and the day you don't do it, they might begin to be upset. So desperation causes us to undervalue ourselves at times. Look at verse 28, 27 and 28. Laban said, "For I've learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for your sake." Laban said, "I've learned from experience that God has blessed him, blessed his household for the sake of Jacob. And you treated this Jacob so badly." Then he says, "Name your wages, and I will give it to you." Name your wages. You see, God says He's going to make a way of escape for you, but He never said the way is the destination. Maybe Jacob was running from his brother, running from what he did to his brother, and he forgot the same mistake his brother made. And he was also making that same mistake in a bit of desperation. When some people say Jacob did this to Esau, it happened to him as well. Before his uncle Laban, Laban also used them, overused them, even knowing that he was the source of the increase in his house. But Laban never accepted it until after 20 years, and Jacob said, "I need to leave." Don't build permanent structures on temporary location, because you might have to move. And I think that Jacob just anchored his life with his uncle and never really thought about what was going to happen. But there comes a time, like I said, there comes a time you begin to have this talk in your heart that I need more, I need to do more. It comes to every man, and I also believe it comes to every woman, and that was the desperate situation that Jacob found himself. So, out of desperation, Jacob undervalued his potentials and went through hardship for 20 years. Let's just consider that hardship so that you see the mistake we make when we are young at times, the mistake we make because we don't have mentors. This is why, even if you're 20, 19, look for a mentor at all times. Look for a mentor at all times. Look for people that have gone through the stage where you are currently at and seek their advice. Listen to this, Genesis 31 from 38 to 42. Jacob now lamenting. He says, these 20 years I've been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried their young, and I have not eaten the ram of your flock. How can you serve someone 20 years? You have not eaten the ram of his flock. Verse 39 says, that which was torn by beasts, I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it. You required it of my hands. So anything that happened to the flock of Laban, Jacob will pay for it. And it was his uncle. So any beast that was torn, anyone that was torn by beasts, killed by wild animals, Laban didn't even want to hear. Jacob will pay for it. And he says, I bore the loss, you required it of my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was in the day, the frost consumed me, the drought consumed me by day, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus I have 41 now, thus I have been in your shoes 20 years. I served you 14 years for your two daughters, 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times in 20 years. This is what taking decisions, desperate decisions, this is what it does to us. Never negotiate under pressure. Do not negotiate anything under pressure. Seek counsel at all times, regardless of your situation. Please seek counsel. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety, the Bible says. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Have people that you can go and talk to them about your situation. They will give you advice. Many young people feel that they can do it on their own, and they make the same type of mistake that Jacob made. For you can never arrive at a good deal from a desperate standpoint. You can never arrive at a good deal from a desperate standpoint. Jacob needed a house. He needed a home. He needed to be somewhere. So anything Laban was saying, he was agreeing, even though he was a good herder. He was good in livestock because that was what he was doing at home. He was good in that livestock farming. He was good because if he was not good, there wouldn't have been increase in the livestock of Laban. Don't arrive at a good deal from a desperate standpoint. No, behave like the Russians. When many years ago, me and my friends, we used to talk about do not behave like the Russians when you are in a meeting, especially you are negotiating something. Russians keep a straight face and they don't show emotions. So whether they are happy, they are not happy, keep a straight face. When you're negotiating with people, let them be busy trying to decode whether you're happy or not. Sometimes silence can make your opponent begin to talk. Somebody is talking to you, you're just watching that person. I'm going to offer your company this, I'm going to do this. You're just looking, waiting for them. And they want you to talk so that they can have something to say. But silence is golden, really. Because you are silent, they can start vomiting and saying things that they ought not to say. So sometimes it's good to be silent when you are trying to watch and understand things. Be silent. That silence will help you. That silence will help you to understand. Keep a straight face. Don't show emotions when you're negotiating with anybody. It will help you because it puts your opponent or the person you're negotiating with, you make them put them in a position that they are of uneasiness. They are not they don't understand They don't understand what they are seeing. They don't understand you. So they will give in more than if you were talking to them. So show no emotions. Rule number one in buying 101, never show excitement or emotions to a seller when you're negotiating for a product. Ah, that means you're shooting yourself in the foot. You have been looking for a particular product, then you see it somewhere, and you shout, "Hey, I've been looking for this thing." Wow. As soon as the seller hears that you've been looking for this thing, if that thing was 1,000 naira, it's going to make it 10,000 naira. And because you are desperate for it, you begin to negotiate something that was 100 naira. He made it 1,000 naira because you said you've been looking for it. So he will now say, because you have been looking for this thing, let me just sell it for 500 naira for you because you've been looking for this. You will run at a loss. But when you come to that place and you see that thing you have been looking for, you say, what is this? Is this? I don't even think this is the original. Is this the original? Well, maybe I should just leave it. Let me go to somebody that has the original. That 100 naira that man wants to charge you, he will bring it down to 80. The more he sees that you have options elsewhere, he will bring it down to 50. He will reduce his own profit margin because you are not excited about it. You are not that much excited about it, but you are actually excited about it. Um, don't show excitement when you're going to buy. Another thing, do not make long-term contracts. Jacob made 7 years contract, 14 years contract to marry two women. Who does that? In which, in which nation, which tribe, which race will do that? It's because, it's because he was not experienced. There's something they say in our local parlance here. They say is a fly that does not have a legal counsel that will follow the dead body to go into the grave for to be buried. So it means that if you do not have a counselor, a legal counselor, you will do a lot of things that you live to regret. Do not take long agreements or contracts like Jacob did. Always leave an escape clause for yourself. Don't do contracts more than 12 months, 18 months at the most. So if it doesn't, the partnership, because sometimes partnership can be like marriage. If it does not work out, you have an escape clause. Don't agree and say, we are giving you contract for 5 years to supply this at this amount. Why? In Nigeria of today, that the exchange rate is going up and down, how can you take a contract and how can you take a contract you take a contract that you take a contract that you take a contract that there's no escape clause. You know what happens? You will not be able to answer it. You will not be able to make profit at the end of the day. So please do not negotiate under pressure. All right, you guys, thank you for listening. I'll be back shortly with part two.